Hey, y'all, I'm Jace Posey, and this is The Sideline Show.
Everybody, listen up!
It's The Sideline Show.
Won't go. Rebound box. Back out to Allen. His three-pointer. Bang!
Everybody's ready to go. He's ready to go. I'm ready to go. And you're ready to go.
Introducing now the host of The Sideline Show, Jackson Prince.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? You are watching The Sideline Show. I am your host, Jackson Prince, and today I got a guy who, is a former teammate of mine. We went to the Final Four at Peach Jam together. He is a multi-sport athlete at the collegiate level. A guy that I look up to a lot. He's a really good friend of mine here at TCU. I got my man, Jace Posey. Jace, what's up, bro?
What's up, man? How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. You?
I'm doing well. Just enjoying life and enjoying the process.
Yeah, for sure, man. How's summer workouts been looking for you?
Summer workouts have been going pretty well. We have a whole new group, only 3 returners, and only one of the returners have played minutes in the college game.
Right.
So kind of figuring out, everything about your new teammates, how they play, how you want to communicate with them. All that has been very interesting, and I'm enjoying the process.
Yeah, for sure. So you only got 3 returners, including you. Mm-hmm. So what's the mindset like when we got a bunch of new guys coming in, and you got to handle culture and you got the same coaching staff, so you have to really be one of those guys to reiterate what the culture is actually supposed to look like. How have you taken that role?
It's very difficult. All 3 returners have been here the same amount of years. This is our second year here, so we don't have a full sense of the TCU culture, but what we know of, we have to implement that and make it a focus to all the other guys. So we just want to make sure we have respect in the locker room and that we're all competing and we all had the same goal to make it to the tournament and go far there.
No doubt. So how was playing in the tournament last year? Because y'all, I was in the Big 12 too, and, we had, how many times did we play? All twice?
We played y'all
just
once here.
Just once? Yeah. So, and we're paying attention to what you guys are going to do because it depends on how we match up, right? Yeah. So, you guys kind of squeaked into the tournament. So what was it like being one of those lower seeds and really having the expectation of all right, we can still, it starts over right now?
Man, being a lower seed, we were a low seed, but we knew we had a good squad. We had a good group of people. Unfortunately, we lost in the first round, and that was very unexpected. The locker room was kind of silent and awkward after that. But
who'd y'all lose to?
I think we lost to Utah State.
Okay,
They had some good players, but
yeah,
I feel like on one of our better days, we for sure got them, and it didn't happen to be that way. But the whole process of being there, seeing all the fans out there for the sports and watching other games, I really enjoyed that. Not even being able to play, but just being able to watch and enjoy the experience.
For sure. And we always talked about in our locker room, it doesn't matter who the better team is in the tournament. It just matters who shows up on that day.
For sure.
Yeah.
It's one game, not a series. It's like the NFL playoffs. If you don't show up one day, the season's over.
Yeah,
and that's how it was for us.
For sure. So talking a little bit less about basketball, like I mentioned in your intro, you're a dual sport athlete at the collegiate level, which is something that not a lot of guys do, especially if you're like a basketball player or a football player. That's kind of like your full-time job. And, I'm sure you can attest to the fact this is a job.
Yeah.
How's the transition from having to, because you were a world record holder type, athlete for the high jump in high school. And I remember hearing about that the first time when we started playing together on Houston Hoops. And, it was pretty obvious, you getting up there, you punching in games. So, what's that like at the college level? And then also talk about how you were recruited to actually do that.
So I'm going to talk about the recruitment first. My track recruitment wasn't too crazy, and I think that was because I was playing basketball and they knew that was the main sport, and why give a scholarship to a kid when he could go to your school and play basketball. So TCU was one of the schools that were just comfortable with me playing basketball and doing track. So after basketball season, I might have took a week off, and then I'm on the track field with the team doing all the workouts. 2-3 weeks after that, I'm in Florida competing with my first collegiate track meet, and I won that. That was a very exciting feeling, and I loved the atmosphere out there. And then I proceeded to go to the Big 12 championships, and I went to Arkansas. And I didn't qualify for nationals, but I might do it again next year just to show them that I can do it, because I feel like if I put in a lot of time and effort towards that goal, I could do it.
No doubt. No doubt. I mean, we've seen you jump. So, like, we know you got it. And, I mean, you played basketball the whole year. Like, if you were to drop basketball, which obviously you're not going to do,
Yeah.
but if you were to drop basketball and go full-time into it, I mean, there's no doubt that you could be one of the best in the country at it, for sure.
Yeah, we put on a lot of weight in the weight room, and
Yeah,
a lot of wear and tear on the knees, jumping, running around, diving in practice. So
for sure.
I feel like not going to drop basketball, but if I were to get into track and do that full time, I feel like I could, level up there.
For sure. So I'll share a little bit of my freshman experience, but I definitely want to ask about yours. So, you're playing high school basketball. You're the dude, right? We just came off of, we had Peach Jam Final Four last high school season. Now we going into college. For me, it was I got down there, and in I'd say 2-3 months, I gained 18 pounds of lean muscle. So like that was the biggest shift, because obviously like you need to get bigger to play college basketball, because you can't just be getting bumped around. So that was a huge thing for me. And then our strength and conditioning guy, he works with the Detroit Pistons now, but he had been in the league. He worked with the Phoenix Suns, and like Devin Booker and KD talking about this is the best guy they ever worked with. So, and like I know you've experienced like similar things, and just kind of feeling the whole, like it's overwhelming, like being at a higher level.
It is.
Yeah. So talk about like your first impressions of college basketball.
Right in high school, you're the guy at your school, and I mean, I had to be realistic. I'm like, coming into college, these guys have been here, and the portal's a real thing, so they're pulling in all these great guys from everywhere. So I'm not going to come and being a guy, but I'm going to come in with my head high and confidence and play the right way. So really just getting into the first week of workouts last year, it was just me trying to keep up with the pace. They move at a very fast pace, and everybody's always talking in the gym, bringing energy. And being a new guy on the squad, you got to fit in. You can't be the odd guy out. Couldn't be in there silent, quiet, not keeping up with the group. So I'm just in there trying my best to keep up with the rest of them.
Yeah, for sure. And I would say it was the same thing with me. Like, when I first got down there, I was a little bit delusional because we only had, I think, 9 or 10 guys when I first walked in. And it didn't look like we were going to bring in more people. So I'm looking around. I'm like, am I going to get to play?
Yeah.
And then next thing I know, it's like we got six other guys coming in. And I'm like, oh, okay. But, yeah, no, I would say, like, the energy thing is one of the major changes. And we did that at my high school, but not at the same level. Like,
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I mean, I've always been a guy to try to bring energy in practice. I mean, like, we played together.
Yeah.
But it just feels different, man. Like, and you're playing against real pros, too.
Yeah.
Like, these guys can go play pro now, most of them at least. Yeah.
It's not just high school basketball where guys are playing for fun. Guys are playing for jobs and money.
Yeah.
Their family and friends. So it's a lot more at stake on a college level.
Yeah, no doubt. So, shifting gears just a little bit, you had, your dad is an NBA champ.
Yeah.
What was that like growing up, knowing that you grew up with championship culture. So what was it like watching your dad win NBA championships?
So the first ring he won was in Miami, and I didn't get to see that one, but I have watched some documentaries about that whole season, and their culture seemed really important. I wasn't alive back then, but I'm watching all the documentaries and kind of how you're watching The Last Dance and you get that feeling of, like they're kicking things up. And that's what was happening on that team. And then Boston Celtics, pretty much the same thing. They had a word called, it was a phrase, it was like Ubuntu.
Yeah.
And I don't know the full meaning of that, but in my high school career, the football team used that word and referred to it a lot. And they ended up having a pretty successful season. So I think there's a lot of things behind that. And 2016, when the Cavs won and came back from 3-1, he was a part of that team on the coaching staff.
Right.
And he was just telling me all these stories about LeBron, how he's acting, how he's leading his team. And he's really like he's telling me this, being amazed, but for some reason he thinks Jordan's the GOAT.
Yeah.
Which doesn't make sense to me at all because I don't understand how.
You think Bron's the GOAT?
100%, and I don't understand how you experience the 3-1 comeback.
Yeah.
And you're witnessing all this to practice.
And he play with Bron too?
No? He didn't play with him, but he played against him.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So, I mean, if I was him, I wouldn't think LeBron's the GOAT either. I mean, you played against him.
Yeah.
And I think he beat y'all. I think he beat the Boston Celtics.
Yeah.
Maybe it's one of those years he beat them.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, he's been beating on him for some of his career, so I wouldn't like him either. But the LeBron stories that he told me kind of is just little things you got to pick up on to have championship culture. And I don't know all the pieces to it, but having him in my life, I had access to some of the little gems.
Yeah, for sure. Shifting gears just a little bit, we played against Bronny, and there's a certain clip that I'm not going to talk about, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we played against Bronny, and he recently just got drafted. One, talk about how crazy it is to see guys that we played with and against get drafted.
It's really insane and really cool to see.
Yeah.
And it shows me that my dreams are possible every day. Like, I know these guys, had conversation with the guys, played with these guys, and
whooped up on these guys too.
Yeah. Seeing where they're at now is where I want to get to. So I just know it's possible to do that, and I'm very happy for those guys.
For sure. Realistically, because like I said, we played against Bronny. And just as well as, anyone else who would be in your situation, what NBA talent really looks like. How do you think he's going to develop?
He's not a bad player. I think he's a very good player, and I think good players can develop. And, I mean, people might clown him because he's scoring this in the summer league, but, I mean, the NBA is more than the summer league. You play 82 games in the season,
right? And
I've heard things about him going in and out of the G League, and that's all for development. So I think it's really only going to better him. It's not going to get any worse.
Yeah. And
I'm really excited to see what he does, what role he has with the Lakers.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I think that's pretty sweet. I've always been a Dalton Connect fan. So like seeing them play together in the summer league is really cool. And also like as a guy who's played against him, I can't hate on the dude because it's like, shoot, man, if we could swap jerseys right now, like we can go.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I mean, he's playing in the summer league, getting buckets. So, I think that's super cool, and I just want to hear your take on it. Yeah, man. So let's go back to that Houston Hoops run that we had. We're gonna sound a little bit like old heads or whatever, but it's all good. Talk about the culture on that team, because we played teams that were a lot more talented than us, like top to bottom. But we won a lot of games, and like, I mean, going to Peach Jam Final Four, losing a game that we lost by like 2-3, and won by very much. Like, and then the team, like a team that we had beaten, ended up winning it. So it's, I mean, you're right there. Like, talk about that experience for you.
I think we had a lot of dogs. We played hard and we played the right way, and I think we cared about each other. And I think that all goes into winning a lot. You got guys coming off the bench, creating energy, making shots. You got guys on the floor crashing hard, diving on loose ball, getting boards. We got guys making an extra pass, and that was really the turning point for us. Our first 2 sessions, we were very selfish with the ball, and we didn't see the results that we wanted. So we had to be real with ourselves and come together as a team. And once we did that, we got on the right track, and we play 4 or 5 games in a week, and we're winning. We're only losing probably 1 or 2 of them. So, I mean, we were very successful, and the Peach Jam run, I think we were just all mentally locked in.
Yeah.
We weren't doing anything crazy. We hooped and went to the hotel, and we chilling there. We didn't do too much. It wasn't too much outside noise, so it was easy for us to really lock in and play a game a day and then just relax.
Facts. Yeah, and I think for me, I was coming from UA Rise. So
what session did you join us? What was your first session with us?
Kansas City.
Oh, that was the worst one we had.
That was the worst one.
That was. Did we win a game?
I felt no, we won.
We won a game.
We won a game.
I think we lost 3. Somebody dropped 40 on us.
Yeah. Oh my God, who was it?
TJ Powers.
TJ Powers had 41.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I went crazy that game too, which is why I remember that. Yeah, and then where's he at now? Did he go to Duke or something?
I think so.
Yeah. I mean, oh my gosh. I
Like
just
that.
remember. And then before the game, y'all were like, oh, he's a baseball player. Like, he throws like an 85 mile an hour fastball. And I'm like, oh, like, we about to whoop up on these
That's
dudes.
what I'm thinking.
41 points later, we just go home. Like, oh my God. And then I remember we were on the bubble of making peach.
Yeah.
And I remember going into Kansas City, we were all like, yeah, like, we're going to make peach, and, like, this is cool. Lose 3 games in a row, now it's like, you on the bubble. And then New Heights Lightning, we were supposed to play them. At the time, they were the number 1, and they didn't show up, so they forfeited. So we made it into peach off a forfeit, and then we ended up going to the Final Four.
That's crazy.
Yeah, like, it's crazy how that stuff happens, man.
Yeah.
But I think the turning point for us, too, was, oh, man, you did something. You dove on a loose ball in front of the other team's bench, and you got nose to nose with a couple guys, and it got a little dirty or whatever. And I think J-Lo was the first one over there, and then, like, we were all, like, trailing behind, myself included. And we come back to the huddle, and J-Lo is cussing us out crazy. And he's like, man, if your teammate's on the ground, you got to go sprint over there, pick him up. And, like, if he's going nose to nose with someone, like, we got to fight and, like, all this stuff. And I'm like, yeah, that's real talk. So we get to peach, and JoJo goes up in the air for a rebound, and he gets pushed to the ground. And I forget who it was, but I remember he was like a 4 or 5 star, 6'9" guy. And I sprint from the volleyball line under the rim, and I, like, shove him out of bounds. And I got a tech for it, obviously, but I'm like, nose to chest with this guy, you know what I'm saying? But I'm, like, cussing him out. I'm like, yo, don't do that shit. Like, you know, and we going at it, and then I just look over, and all of y'all over there like, yeah, Jack.
Yeah.
But
that's what we needed.
That's when I was like, that, and then that was, like, the second game that we had played in, and we won our first one. At that point, I was like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to go deep. And then, God, there was one play. J-Lo came off I don't remember if it was in transition or if he came off a sideline ball screen, but you cut in from the corner, and he just threw it up like this. Wham! Oh, my gosh. I remember just standing over there, and I was in the opposite corner watching it happen, and I was like,
yeah, we're a very exciting team, and
yeah.
Me and Jalen have played with each other since maybe 8th grade.
Yeah.
And I remember getting into the altercation during that Kansas City session. And when we were younger, we got into the same thing. But Jalen wasn't playing. He was hurt. I forgot what he was out with. But we're playing the game. I'm playing pretty well. Other players getting upset in a smaller tournament in Houston. And the player pushed me in the back. I pushed the player back. Me and him talking, boom, somebody came up behind me, knocked me on the ground. I get up, everybody in the gym going all crazy.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I think that just brought me and Jalen's bond closer together. I mean, him he was on crutches.
Right.
So he's on crutches. He can't do nothing about it. He's just watching all this unfold. And that Kansas City session that we had, I think it brought back flashbacks to that. And
For sure.
I think that really just turned it on for us.
Yeah, and what I found interesting too is, like, even though I had just joined y'all, I knew most of y'all. I didn't know you very well, but I had kind of played against J-Lo because I was in the class above y'all, and then I reclassed in 8th grade. But I had known him since, like, 5th, 6th grade, and I was always saying, like, he's nice, like he's gonna he's gonna be raw. And it was so strange because we had just played in TABC, and I was playing with Duncanville. And I get called into the office afterwards, and PV's like, hey, man, like, you know, the head coach from Houston Hoops just called me. Like, he wants you to come and play. And, like, they're already set to go to Peach and everything. And, like, are you going to do it? And I remember calling my Showtime AAU coaches. And I remember telling them, like, hey, I'm going to do this. And, like, because I wanted to do it right, you know. But even on day one, where it was, like, I walked in the gym, like, all y'all just welcomed me with, like, open arms and stuff. And it was like, all right, cool. Like, this is a good environment. And then because we had, like, that 2-week training camp or whatever, where and I was staying at Coach Mo's house. Yeah. And I was just like, man, like, this dude don't even know who I am. He's letting me sleep there. His wife's making me breakfast in the morning. Like, this is sweet, bro.
Yeah, we had some good people on our team and staff. And
for sure.
I love being a part of teams where everybody cares for each other, and we did that.
Nah, and like that, and then winning cures everything, right? So when we were winning games, it was like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
It's not even an issue. But nah, I think that was that was probably my favorite team that I've ever played on, I think.
That was my favorite too.
Yeah, no, that was a good run, man. So, talking about kind of, again, the transition from high school to college, you redshirted this year.
Yeah.
So, obviously, you get the fact that you weren't going to be the guy, but because your ego takes a little bit of a hit, I'm sure, because I felt the same thing. Like, your ego takes a little bit of a hit when you go from being the guy in high school to now you're redshirting and like you're still doing all the work and even you're working out even more so than the guys who are playing. Did y'all work out on game days?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before
No,
games.
we did too. We worked out like twice a day on game
Even
days.
on the road, we working out before games.
100%. We're in that hotel weight room, like
Yeah.
getting it. So, okay, cool. That's what I thought. But so like we had a similar experience in that way. But from a mental standpoint, how do you handle like that? Not demotion, but like how do you handle sitting on the bench?
So it was, for me to redshirt, they told us the day before the first game.
Yeah.
And that really hurt. Like we going all this time through summer workouts, practice.
Really?
And we competing, thinking we got a chance to be in the game. 3 days before the game, I'm on a graphic talking about 3 days for the game, I'm dribbling the ball. So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get to play. And then they have a meeting with us, and they just keep it real with us, and they just let us what's going on, and I ended up redshirting. So that was very difficult for me. I was upset at the moment. I was probably upset for a week, but I was still at practice, still working out, and being a redshirt freshman with my other freshman, Isaiah, he made it easier for me. We could relate on a lot of different things and the same topics, and we became better friends off the court because of that. We had so much to relate to. So we're in the gym together. We got the same motivation. We're gonna hold each other accountable and push each other. So that made it very easy to redshirt.
Zay's a good dude.
He is, and after that, I think the year just went upwards for us. We're in practice, just playing freely.
Yeah.
If we mess up, that's not taking minutes away from us. Like we just a mess up.
Yeah.
So we in there going at the older people's heads, and we getting buckets, just playing our game. And I think a lot of that has helped us going into this year, just being confident and knowing that we put in the work, and even probably more work than some of the guys who are on the court.
Facts.
And I mean, I think it all played out well. I'm glad I redshirted, and that's a part of my journey.
For sure. So, talk about Jamie Dixon, because I know he's one of the better coaches in college basketball. At least that's what I've heard. That's the reputation. So much so that he even coached a Team USA team.
Yeah.
A couple years back with who was on that team? Was Mike Miles on that team?
He was.
Yeah. So I mean, he coached under the Team USA program organization, right? Just talk about his coaching and his demeanor during games, right? And I've always said, like, you got to be a little bit crazy to coach at this level and to win at this level and to have the type of career that he's had here. You got to be a little crazy. So, like, you got any Jamie Dixon stories?
I'm not going to get too specific on the stories.
Yeah.
But he will let you hear it.
For sure.
You mess up in practice, he's going to let you hear it. He might take it to the extreme, but at the end of the day, he cares.
Right.
He'll always come and check on you after. He'll call you in his office and have a good conversation with you, but he's going to hold you accountable. He hates excuses. And he's just like, if you were to see him on the outside, you think he's an asshole, but he's not.
Yeah.
He's a coach.
Right.
The coach is going to get on your case. They're going to push you hard and expect the best from you. And if you don't give it to them, they're going to be upset with that performance.
Well, people who think like that are guys who don't know. Like, they've never played at this level. They've never played for anyone who valued winning almost as much as they valued life, right? Like that. I mean, because that's what it is. I mean, at the end of the day, like, he's got a family to feed. Yeah. And if y'all don't win games, how's he going to feed his family? So I always tell, like, high school guys, because I get a lot of messages from high school guys asking me, how did I get to wherever? And I always tell them, like, your number one job is to make sure your coach don't get fired.
Yeah.
Like, that's your whole job. So, yeah, man, I've studied a lot. And obviously, like, when we go to play y'all last year, like, I'm watching hours of film on y'all. And, I mean, you had a lot of, like, vets, guys who had been around for a while.
We did. I think we had the most experienced team last year. Like just guys being
Really?
old and how many years they played college basketball.
Yeah. So I mean, you got E-Man, you got Jameer Nelson Jr., you got Trey Tennyson.
Chuck O'Bannon, he played like 7-8 years.
Yeah, you got Micah.
Micah Peavy.
Yeah, like who's my dog, by the way. So how did those older guys like really impact you? Because I know for me, Brock Cunningham is my guy.
So they brought a level of professionalism to the practices, to the games, everything we did, because they've done this for years and they know the protocol and how things are supposed to go. So we're following their lead, just trying to act the part. One of the older guys, though, that I would say was kind of like a mentor to me and gave me some gems was Darius. Darius Ford. He was a walk-on here. Yeah. And he was just a great guy on and off the court. He played with a lot of passion. He played hard. And he's a walk-on, but he's getting reps at practice. He's really competing, and he's making you go hard. Yeah. And besides basketball, he's a very religious man, very spiritual, and I respect that from him. He's not afraid to express his faith and say what he believes in. And I mean, I'm glad he was here my freshman year.
Yeah. No, I've heard nothing but good things about Darius. Yeah. No, that's cool to hear that from his teammate. Talk about E-Man, because he's getting a shot in the summer league. One, how cool is it to watch a guy that you played with play in the summer league?
It's very cool to, like, I haven't even played a college game. Yeah. So, I mean, still seeing people on TV that is like that wow factor. Like, I haven't played on TV yet, and just seeing him play on TV is very mind-blowing to me. And as I brought up earlier about playing against or seeing your peers being on a professional level, it shows you that it's possible. Like, you were in practice with him, you're competing with him. Like, that's just another reminder to me that, like, I can accomplish this. I just have to keep working towards a goal. But he put up some very good numbers. Yeah. He's playing a solid game, and I think he'll help an NBA team for sure.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, I'm watching him on Scout. I mean, dude can go. Yeah. Dude can really play, and I think we were so worried about him, like, coming up here, because you already know, like, away games, like, those are tough. Yeah. Did y'all play at Houston?
No, Houston played here. We played there this upcoming year.
Okay. Have fun, bro. Have fun.
No, it was crazy down there. And they're probably where were they ranked when y'all played them?
1.
Oh, yeah.
I think, or were they were top 5 for sure.
That's insane.
Yeah, we well, I said, I played with Max Haysmith, who at the time I definitely thought was the best point guard in college basketball. Man, Jamal Shed is a different animal. Like, he deserves to be on an NBA roster so bad, bro.
I think he just like signed
with Toronto. Yeah. No, I mean, he deserves it. Yeah. He deserves it. I mean, how hard is it to win Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year and Player of the Year?
That's very impressive.
That's wild. As a small guard,
you got to play hard.
He's like 6 foot.
You got to play hard.
Yeah, like you got to be that dude.
No plays off. You got to.
Yeah. I think Toronto's a good spot for him too. Yeah. I think he's going to be pretty successful. But yeah, man, I mean, obviously we're playing y'all and it's an away game. Yeah. And like I said, I wasn't able to travel, but I actually still came up for the game. I was just sitting in the stands. But I mean, we're prepping for y'all. Talk a little bit about, obviously teams are completely different now, so like we can talk about what our strategies were. What was y'all's strategy for playing us?
I don't remember specifics, but whatever coach was doing the scout, he was low-key kind of like on the edge. Like, he was low-key. Yeah. He wasn't panicking, but you could tell if we got this win, it would have meant something to him. So this whole week in practice, we're really focusing on defense. We're like, offense will come, but we have to stop the guards, and we have to stop the big. I forgot, what was his name?
Caden?
What's his last name?
Shedrick.
He was like the big. Was he like number 4 or something? Or 4 was a guard?
4 was Tyrese. 5 was Caden Shedrick. Was he our start? Yeah, he was our starting 5. We had.
He might have been y'all's 4 or 5, but
yeah,
he was getting buckets down low.
Dessou?
Dylan? Yes.
Yeah.
I think he played very well against us.
Yeah, number 1. Yeah.
He played very well against us.
No, Dylan had a really good game against y'all.
Yeah, and he was on a scouting report. And
for sure.
I think y'all.
He's an animal. And he was our highest percentage 3-point shooter too.
Yeah,
but like he's killing off a short roll. So it's like, how are you supposed to stop that?
It was very hard for us, and we thought we had y'all controlled until maybe the last 2 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
And the score got very spread out.
Yeah.
From it.
Yeah, it was. I remember it was late, and I mean, we're really trying to like make a comeback. I mean, it was tight the whole game, but still, we're like, I'm up there watching, and I'm just like, man, there's so many things like we should be doing that we're not. But I remember that week heading into it, it was E-Man being able to isolate us from the elbows was something that could not happen.
Yeah,
because like I feel like that was his spot.
That was our offense.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And then Avery can't get downhill in transition. Yeah. That was another one. Trey, we can't give him too many open looks.
Yeah.
Who else? I mean, like obviously Micah. Like we can't let him beat us on the defensive end.
Yeah.
So I think honestly the goal was, I think he was guarding. Who did he guard a lot? Maybe Tyrese or somebody.
Maybe.
But yeah, I remember we were always trying to go like same side as Micah to make sure that he couldn't help.
Yeah.
And whatnot. But yeah, man. I mean, it was definitely a tough game. I mean, road games are always tough. But I feel like us beating y'all here really helped solidify our spot in the tournament.
Yeah, that was a emphasis on our scouting report. They were like guys, they're gonna come here like they need this win. Like this will really help them, and we were trying to set that out for y'all. And we weren't successful, but I mean, we mentioned that, we talked about that
for sure. Yeah, and you know, obviously being at Texas, every game it's like these guys want to beat y'all, and like you know, what did he say? He was like, this is their Super Bowl, and like all this stuff, right? So, you know, because everyone thinks like we're the premier basketball team in the state. So every game we treated it like we were prepping for the Super Bowl. Yeah. And I mean we lost some games that we shouldn't have lost, like West Virginia at West Virginia. Like that's
y'all lost to West Virginia.
Yes.
How was their atmosphere for y'all?
So
with y'all being one of the better teams, one of the more well-known teams, like
so walking in, they had, because you know how fans talk trash before the game. That was the last. No, yes, that was the last road trip that I went on. So like I heard that, I got some of this too. The fans were talking so crazy. Like Brock walks in and they're like, "Brock, go get a job, you geriatric."
Oh, God.
Like, and you know they're just clowning everybody, man. And then when we lose, and then they're playing Country Road, like, and we're just like high fiving them, and they're playing this song, and the whole other team is like West Virginia, and it was a sad plane ride at home, and it was such a long flight.
I hate that.
God, it was 4 hours.
Losing on the road is the worst, especially
the worst.
Late at night. You lose, and you on the plane, people quiet. They said we lost, and you got class the next day.
You getting back at 3 a.m., 2 a.m. Like, oh
it's a
my
lot.
Gosh, yeah. How are classes here?
Classes weren't too hard for me. I had 2 or 3 classes a day. First class probably 9:30, and then.
So y'all practice in the afternoon?
Yeah, we practice around 1. What time do you practice?
We practiced. I think we had to be at the facility at 7:30. Practice was like 8:15 in the morning. That was good though.
Oh yeah.
That was good for us. I mean, I like practicing in the morning. We can just go ahead and knock out whatever we needed to and have the rest of our day to ourselves. That was nice.
Practice in class, practice then class. I don't know if that's the best for me. I might want to
really
low key, like,
I think it's just because you're used to it, like how it is now.
Because I mean, I'm gonna go to class, but after practice, you don't want to do anything.
Yeah.
And I feel like if I wake up and go to class, I could look forward to practice at the end of the day, and I enjoy basketball. So if I get through class, I get to go to practice. So that's a little of my motivation.
That's your mindset. Like you get to go to practice.
Yeah.
For me, I just like doing what I love doing in the morning, and then the rest of the day it's whatever, you know. And then I do all of, like the content stuff too. So it's like after practice, I get to like sit down and actually edit videos and like go record podcast episodes and stuff. So. No, I mean, I just like that schedule a lot more, but classes weren't bad. I mean, I know it's a good academic school.
Yeah.
So
I mean, classes went well, And if they weren't going to go well, I would talk to my academic advisor.
Yeah.
I talk to her every day, and she makes sure I'm getting my work done.
I think for me, I was valedictorian coming out of high school. So it was like,
How was that? How much effort, how much time did that cost?
I mean, it definitely cost a lot of time, I would say. But for me, it was just about building like systems. So I would, my junior and senior year, I was a little on the crazy side. I was waking up at like 4:15 in the morning, and like I would lift and then get shots up, and then I would study for like an hour, do all my classes, go to practice from like 2 to 5, and then get up some more shots. So 5 to 6, 6:30, go home, shower, eat dinner, and then I would like study or read or do just a little bit more, and then I'm going to bed at like 9 or 10. So like that was my day to day, and it was weekends I could do whatever I wanted, but like during the week there was like no slippage on my part. So I mean it was tough. It required a lot of time, but I mean it was worth it for sure. It was worth it for like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then after I mean the being able to that speech or whatever, I would say that's the single coolest moment because our school was so big. We had 1,063 people in my graduating class. So I'm speaking to, and they all got their families there and everything. I'm speaking to like 5,000-6,000 people. We're at Globe Life Field. So I'm on home plate speaking to like 5,000-6,000 people. That was for sure the coolest moment of my life, I think.
Did you have to memorize it, or were you reading off something?
I had it memorized, but they had a binder there for me to where like if I wanted to read it, I could. But I pretty much had it memorized. I've always been good at public speaking, but I was like super nervous about doing that. So I don't know, man. It was cool. Once the speech was over, and then like I always tell people, I graduated at 8 p.m. that night, right? The next morning at 7 a.m. I had to be in Austin. So I had no turnaround time at all. It was like one day I'm a high school kid who's graduating. The next day I'm a full-blown college athlete. So I had no time to adjust or anything. And on that same day, my first day at college was like an NBA combine. So my first impression that I give to these guys, and I'm the first name on the list for vertical jump, which is not what I do. So my first impression, the first time that most of these guys have ever seen me is jumping up and having like the second lowest vert on the team. So I was just like, man, this is gonna be rough. And like I'm not super fast either, so it's like I'm slowest or second slowest on the team, and like the 3/4 sprint or whatever. That whole experience, like that whole. It was a 24-hour period where my entire life just completely changed. Yeah. So what about you, like high school to college? Did you have time to get ready?
I might have had like 2 weeks off, which isn't a lot of time.
Yeah.
But at some time I got to, set aside some time for my friends.
It's better than 2 hours, bro.
Yeah, get in the gym some. But yeah, somebody who had the same problem with you was Isaiah. I think he had maybe like a 2-day summer break.
Yeah, we graduate late.
Yeah.
In like in the Dallas area, we just normally graduate late because he went to Legacy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, that's crazy, bro. Well, like public school too. It's like we start later, we graduate later, so it is what it is. But I mean, being valedictorian was cool. I mean, it made paying for school a little bit easier, but you'd be surprised to learn like not that much easier. Yeah. So, because I was a walk-on, so I had to figure out how I'm gonna get school paid for. So, yeah, I mean, it was cool, bro. Definitely something I can look back on and like I can watch the video of the speech and be like, yeah, that was
cool.
a cool moment.
Not everybody could say that. That's why it's very cool.
For sure, yeah. And I don't know. I mean, it doesn't come up a whole lot, but no one's actually like ever really asked me like, how was that? You know? So, yeah. I mean, do you have a favorite TCU moment like this past season?
Basketball wise or school wise?
Anything. Just like you being associated with TCU.
My favorite TCU moment. I'm gonna have to say we went to the Colorado versus TCU football game, and it was just the vibes are good. We had practice early in the morning. We get out of practice, you go into the tailgate, and then we show up to the game. It's hot outside, but everybody's there. First game of the season after our little college football playoff run.
Right.
Didn't end well, but we had a cool run and gained a lot of support. And then Colorado, Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter,
yeah.
the coach, all that surrounding them. That brought a lot of people to the game, and it was just always action. I go back now and still watch the game on YouTube.
Yeah.
And that's one of my favorite college moments. I'm glad I got to experience that and be in the college football atmosphere.
Yeah. I went to when we played Tech at home, and it was a night game. Oh, man. Like, the football environment in Texas is just so different.
Yeah.
Like, I wish basketball got that same type of love.
I do too.
But, well, and then you see it on the other side too with like track, because you won't have as many people in the stands. I would say from like a content perspective though, track is like the best sport you could play from like a content perspective.
Why would you say that?
Because it's so easy to get clips, like so easy to get videos, and it's you. You know what I'm saying? So like me, if I check into a game, I might only shoot, not in college, but like in high school, I would shoot maybe 6 shots. So it's like either I have a good game or it's like I'm not hitting very many shots. So from a content perspective, because like you do the TikTok stuff too, and we'll talk about that in a minute, but it's just easy to get content and everything. Like I'm sure you got 100 clips in your phone of you doing the high jump and stuff like that. But and then my game specifically too, like in basketball, I'm not flashy. So like, sure, I got clips of me shooting a catch and shoot 3, but like that's not interesting anybody, you know. So then let's talk a little bit about the content and social media stuff, because you're popular on TikTok, which I wish I could like crack that wall. I do well on Instagram, but TikTok doesn't love me as much. How did you even get into that?
I mean, it started off, musically as a little kid, musically turned into TikTok. And
God, I can see you doing that too.
I mean, I'm a little kid doing dances in the camera, having fun, and then it turned to TikTok. I was a little hesitant to get on there, but I got on there, I think, during a little before COVID. Yeah. And during COVID, you in the house seeing all this content, you just get creative ideas. So I'm in the house making all these videos, and every now and then, like I seen 1,000 views once, and I thought I'm Charlie D'Amelio. I'm thinking I'm the most famous person on the app. Yeah. And then, I mean, you just keep on coming up with ideas, making videos. You see numbers going up, and I had a cool little prime of TikTok. My numbers don't do as well as I used to, but I mean, I just enjoy putting videos out for myself and the people who follow me. Yeah.
No, I see. I'll be scrolling on TikTok and I'll see you dancing in the locker room. I'll be like, there goes Jace again. Or like I'll see a clip of you getting a dunk or something in practice, and I'm like, yeah, that's my dog right there.
Yeah, TikTok. You could really be yourself. Anybody could just display what they want to on there and create their own image on there.
Man, you're never gonna catch me making a dance in TikTok, bro.
I think you should get out your comfort zone.
I'm not.
Some laughs and giggles.
I'm not like that, bro. Like I can I dance? Yeah, but it's got to be like the right situation, and that's not when a camera is on.
Heard you.
So yeah, nah, you better than me, man. But I've always said the podcast is my favorite type of content to post.
Podcasts are cool.
Yeah, I mean it's fun, bro. Yeah. Like it gives me an excuse to talk to really cool people. Yeah. You know, connect with my boys more. Because now like you've seen me play. Like we've been teammates, we've been friends, whatever. But now you can see me in like a professional setting, so it's kind of cool.
No, this is cool to see.
Yeah, man. So, man, I'm trying to think, man. I don't really ever plan out questions too, which is also why I like doing the podcast because it's super casual conversation. I just research like a little bit about whoever it is I'm bringing on, and then man, we just go. But yeah, I guess that's about it, man. You got anything else that you want to say?
This don't got to be on the podcast, but how's everything going with the Raw Wave Elite situation?
This is going on the podcast for sure. So we'll talk about it, man. Okay, so you know, and I want to respond to this in the right way. And I've thought about how I'm gonna respond to this when someone does ask me a question. It's great that it's you who's asking me, and we're on camera. So let's talk about it. Obviously, I love social media, and I love what it's done for me. Like, I'm at the point now where I actually get paid to like do this stuff. Yeah. So it's super cool, right? And you've experienced that too, what it can do for your brand. And I'm all about having guys build their brands and do all that stuff. However, first and foremost, I'm a basketball player, and competition means everything to me. Winning and losing, I feel, is the best way to determine where you're going to be in life. How many wins can you get versus how many losses are you getting? So I think AAU has gotten to the point now where it's way less about winning and way more about social media and likes and how many followers you can get, which is precisely my problem with Rod Wave Elite and teams like Rod Wave Elite. Because there's some team in Dallas that one of my photographer friends made called like Sniper Gang Elite or whatever, and they commented on one of my hating RWE posts, and they were like, "Oh, but do you love us?" And I was like, "No." Like, it's not, dude, it's not a personal thing. I would say that I didn't like Rod Wave Elite if you started it or if my dad started it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not a personal thing. And I did say this too. Like, I think Cam Wilder is a genius because he found a way to crack social media. Like, if nothing else, this dude is set, you know, for the majority of his life because he's been able to do so well on YouTube and do well on social media, and like he's playing in the Creator Cup Summer League stuff. Like, that's cool. Like, that's cool as shit. Now, am I a fan of him saying that he's doing it for the kids? No, because you're not doing it for the kids. You're doing it for yourself, which is fine. But like, let's call it what it is.
I think it'd be 50-50. Like, he is. I think he is doing it because it benefits him. Yeah. But I feel like at a certain extent, if you're doing something that benefits you and like you just like he's having tryouts for these kids to come. So
okay. So yeah, I'm not saying he's not helping them, but he's not doing it for them.
Kids, I hear you.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, he is helping these guys out, and like, do you know Noah Newman? Yeah. Yeah, like I'm friends with him, and I've said this before. I've said it on camera. Like, dude can hoop. Yeah. Like, he's a really good basketball player, and I think he does deserve to go play college ball. And he wouldn't have gotten noticed, I don't think, if it wasn't for Cam in RWE, right? And one thing that I see is, like, guys who end up getting all of this exposure and stuff, what ends up happening is, like, either they go and they build a brand off of it and, you know, they make all this money and whatever, only positive things, right? Or they build up all of this hype around them and then they crash because they don't know how to handle it. So I think Noah is one of the few cases where it actually has worked out in his favor. And Nelson, obviously. Also, Nelson's 13, he is, which I didn't realize until recently. Like, that's crazy. But yeah, I mean, like, these guys are building brands and like setting themselves up for life, which I'm a huge proponent of.
Yeah, I mean, they have a good circle around them. They have good people around them, good people in their ears. So
for sure,
I think they handle situations pretty well, and it's cool seeing them on all these platforms at all these tournaments.
100%
with all their supporters.
Yeah,
I think that's very amazing.
No, 100%, dude. I mean, like, playing high school ball, like, you would have killed to have fans who show up to your game like they do for Nelson and Noah, you know? So, like, also, I don't hate on RWE. Yeah, I just hate on the concept, you know? Because I'm a competitor, man. Like, I wouldn't have won 3 state championships if I wasn't a competitor. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't have came and played with y'all and do what we did if I wasn't a competitor. So, like, that's just my thing, is I love to win. And I wish guys coming up now would value winning as much as we did coming up. Because obviously, like, you know, like, you feel the same way. It's like winning is everything. I mean, you grew up in a championship house. You know what I'm saying? Like, my dad won a national championship in college hockey. So it was like winning, like, there's no other option. So that's my whole thing. And it's not even just specific to RWE. It's just AAU as a whole, bro. Like, it's not in a good place.
Would you play on Rod Wave Elite if you could?
If I could,
if he sent you,
I really don't think so.
You wouldn't?
I don't know, man. It'd have to be in the right situation. I'd have to know.
Cam DM you tonight, Jackson. We playing in this city this weekend.
If I was still in high school, well, like, I mean, I'm 20, bro. Like, I can't play. You know,
they got everybody playing now, which I think that's also crazy too.
That's crazy to me. I played a year of Power 5 basketball. Like,
it is kind of crazy. And that's the only thing. I don't know if they do this, but I mean, if you have older people playing against these younger kids, I don't think that's the coolest thing. But I could get more behind it if you have people of that age group. Yeah. But if you
if you want to start a Rod Wave Elite men's league where it's like you got grown men getting this type of exposure. Cool, I'm all for that. You know what I'm saying? Like at that point, it's way less serious to me. But like now, you're talking about like kids' futures.
Yeah.
That's when I get a little shaky on it. But if he had hit me when I was in high school, I'd probably say no.
That's interesting. I don't think most kids would say no.
I just, man, I felt the same way about it when they first started, and I liked it when they were in OTE.
Yeah.
Because
I think that's
I
cool.
feel like that's what OTE is about, right? It is getting exposure and like building a brand, right? It's less competition, more showcasing your talent and building a brand. Yeah. Now they're taking that OTE mindset and putting it in AAU, which I'm not a fan of. So it's like it's a double-edged sword for me.
Yeah, I think because like I don't want people to think AAU was just Raw Wave Elite.
Right.
Like, that is one side of AAU. I think like on the circuits, it's pretty much controlled, and I mean everything's pretty much standard basketball. Raw Wave Elite kind of takes the left route, but
Right.
I mean I don't want people to think AAU is that.
Right.
Like it's some type of. I'm not saying Raw Wave Elite is a gimmick, but it's not. It's not that. Like it's more organized basketball.
For sure. Yeah, and that's my thing, because you got like I got 13-year-olds in my DMs talking about like, oh my God, I had a DM the other day and it was, don't ever say anything bad about Cam Wilder ever again. He's like, don't say anything bad about Cam Wilder ever again. He's the king of AAU, and I wish he was my dad.
Oh.
I was like, bro, you're 14 saying this.
And you got a dad.
Yeah, like you got a pops, bro. It's like, oh my God, what are we doing? And it's like that's where I draw the line, right? When you create this false reality for kids, and they think every game you're gonna have, thousands of people watching, and every game you're gonna do well, and every game is a highlight tape. That's not what basketball is about. Like, especially if you want to play at this level, like if you want to be able to sit in that locker room, like social media likes and followers and stuff, that's not what gets you in that locker room. Like obviously individual talent is the number one. Yeah. I would say winning is number two. Like if you don't win, you can't play. And how valuable is winning when you're playing against guys who y'all know you're going to beat them by 50? It's like that's not valuable, which is why I like shoe circuits. Like I like EYBL and Under Armour and Puma and Adidas. Like obviously I think those things are good for basketball, but Raw Wave Elite pulling up to Duncanville Fieldhouse, like
It was up there? Oh,
yeah,
they were.
They
They
were.
felt like a
I didn't
younger
go.
group.
I was watching my 4th grade brother play real basketball. That's no. I say that just to piss people off. They do play real basketball, but it's funny because they're like, you don't know what real basketball is. And I had Cam in his response video. Cam was like, have you ever played high school basketball where the other fans
Say all that.
have a chant or whatever?
That chant, I know what chant you're talking about. And
I was like,
that chant is crazy.
that's crazy.
And like you could say it's basketball, and I mean that's not the purest form of basketball, but I think trash talk is an element of basketball
For sure.
So I mean,
Yeah, but see, I've always been a little bit classy about my trash talk. I like pull my jersey up over and like then I'll say something, and like I've been known to talk a lot of trash, especially when I'm playing well. So like I know how the game works, and I'm all for the fans having energy and all that stuff. But he asked me that question, and I'm like, dude, you did not do your due diligence before you made this video. Like, bro, I've won 3 state championships. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? Like playing like the Duncanville versus DeSoto game, and like I'm at DeSoto, hit a 3 over a guy and hold 3 fingers and put it in the back of his head. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I know what that environment looks like, but that's all out of competition. I didn't do that for social media. Like I did it because it's like I'm busting this guy's ass right now, and like I'm gonna let him know.
That's real.
Yeah. So, nah, the whole I mean, it's over now, and like I didn't even think that I didn't think that Cam was even gonna respond. I feel like I feel like he let me get to him too much, even though I didn't like attack him. I feel like he let me get to him too much, and like me trying to remain professional. I don't know if I would have made the same response video. But it blew my stuff up, so whatever,
I mean,
you know what I'm saying?
It looks good. Like,
Yeah,
looking
like,
at numbers,
it's cool, bro.
And
Like
there's
I got
no harm done.
I got nothing against Cam, bro.
Yeah.
Like he's getting his bag. So
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, for sure, man. I mean, you know the social media game. Like, we all do it for similar reasons, you know. So, yeah, man. Well, shoot, dude, I appreciate you doing this, man. This was a lot of fun.
This is fun. I enjoyed this.
Yeah, awesome, man. Well, for all you guys out there watching and listening, make sure that you go follow my man Jace. I'm going to have all of his information down below in the description. I think we talked about a lot of really cool things today. This guy has a very, very bright future, one of the craziest freak athletes that I've ever played with. And man, just a really, really good dude on and off the court, which I think you guys saw today. So with all of that being said, whether you're on the court or you're on the sideline, go with God and always do your best. Peace.